sale of rough out of Zimbabwe this week. Do be sure to keep current with those developments at diamonds.net. Turning to the other side of the pipeline, data points to issues worth watching. In a broad sense, the U.S. Federal Reserve this week took a pessimistic approach to the so-called recovery. Top concerns have not changed throughout the Great Recession. Lack of hiring and jobs, weakened if not contracting consumer spending, and an increase in consumer savings. The Fed now intends to drive corporate borrowing costs lower with the hope of re-energizing a recovery. Taking a look at the health of U.S. retail, this past week, chain store sales rose by low single digits, maintaining a familiar pattern at this point, but these increases are not enough to compensate for losses 1 year ago. ICSC determined that for July in the U.S., comp store sales rose by almost 3%. They dropped by 5% in 2009. Blue Nile profits were flat, and that disappointed their investors when all was said and done. Note a shift in second quarter. Non-engagement diamond jewelry drove growth. The average ticket price overall rose 6% to better than $1,900. Blue Nile also observed that a slowdown is now underway, going into what is traditionally their weakest quarter. Bids.com, meanwhile, reported that sales contracted during second quarter by 5%. They reported a loss. Bids calls the jewelry retail environment more stable than it has been. E-commerce sales overall, though, in second quarter clocked ahead at 9%, says ComScore, reaching almost $33 billion, and led by tech, gadgets, and programs. Growth was not as strong as first quarter, but considering where we've been in this volatile consumer market, the increase was very good news. ComScore said it is more important than ever to closely monitor consumer confidence and unemployment heading into and planning for that all-important fourth quarter. Data on those fronts have been easy to monitor too, because let's face it, the numbers are stagnant. Gallup found consumer sentiment this week in the U.S. was at negative 29 points. This was up from negative 34 points 1 month ago. Almost half of the consumers rate the economy as poor, and about 1/3 says the economy is improving. Figures that Gallup tracks on confidence, daily consumer spending, the job outlook, and quality of life have held basically unchanged now for 17 months. Retail restocking seems to be improving, though, heading into second half. NRF estimated that imported cargo for retailers in the U.S. would increase about 15% this year, and while that is a good sign, NRF believed that the improvement is a correction following overzealous stock reduction in 2009. Even with the prediction in check so far this year, container traffic would remain below the level seen in 2008. Here is a look at how precious metals prices performed this past week. For all the latest industry news, be sure to check diamonds.net.